All three methods take you back to the main window. I should mention at the outset of this new section that you can place your cursor over the dividing bar between the left and the right side, and when you do, your cursor becomes a double-headed arrow, and you can click and drag the dividing bar to the left or right in order to resize the halves to sizes that are comfortable for your viewing. The program remembers how you split up the main window, so you don't need to reset that or remember it from session to session. Now, before visiting page 1 of the Sole Residential Worksheet, I'll mention that our users refer to the revised Ohio Child Support Guidelines program by using an abbreviation made up of the first letter of each word in the title. They call it ROXY. So I'll use that name from time to time in this video to refer to the program. As I mentioned, you should work from top to bottom in the main window. For this demonstration, I'm going to begin entering information on the Sole Residential / Shared Parenting Worksheet because you'll probably use it more than you will the Split Parenting Worksheet. Now to do that, I'll click on the page 1 item. Notice the white area to the right of the form. I could reduce this white area by clicking on the menu bar's Window menu and selecting Scaling. If you select Screen Width and click on the OK button, the form should reset to a size that's appropriate for your screen resolution. Of course, you can try any percentage you like, but the screen width function should work nicely, leaving just a bit of white area to the right so your form is not clipped at the right-hand margin, requiring horizontal scrolling, which can be a pain compared to vertical scrolling. ROXY should set the size automatically, but if you need to do it manually, that's how. Now, when you first see page 1, the cursor is blinking in the field captioned Name of Parties. As you look at the screen right now, the cursor isn't blinking there because I scaled the window to a new size. So the cursor is blinking where it used to be before I scaled it. To correct that, all I had to do was press Tab and Shift Tab to go to the correct field, but now is the way you would normally see the screen when you first visit it. Let's go ahead and start making some entries on the worksheet. Be aware of the parenthetical recommending that you enter the father's name first. I'm entering John Smith and Mary Smith. Now, there's a reason that ROXY recommends entering the father's name first. ROXY will parse the names so that all subsequent pages and the signature lines on the last page will be correctly completed with the father and mother's names. It's probably easier to understand if you see it. I can quickly show you what I mean by using the page selector buttons to display page 2 and verify that John Smith is automatically placed in the father's field and Mary Smith is in the mother's. The parsing function is not an infallible one, and therefore the name fields at the top of page 2 are overridable just in case the parsing process doesn't perform as expected. Whatever ROXY finds in the father and mother fields at the top of page 2 are what are used for all the subsequent pages as well as the signature lines on page 6. So if you need to set that, that's where you do it. This is probably a good opportunity to demonstrate how you can quickly make an override of a particular field. There are a couple ways to override. One is to double click inside the text box, and another way is to go to the options menu here and select override, and what happens is the text in the field turns red as a reminder to you that it's an overridable field, and you'll notice there that I was able to correct or change that field so that on the subsequent pages, John M. Smith will appear at the top of each page and under the signature line on page 6. Now I've gone back to the options menu and canceled that override and then used the page selector 1 button to return to page 1. Although this applies to all sections of the worksheet, not just the caption section, it's a good time to point out that just as tabbing takes you from field to field in a form, from left to right and top to bottom, if you want to back up and reverse the process, you simply hold the Shift key down while you're pressing the Tab key. It's a very handy keyboard function, and it surprises me sometimes as to the number of users who are not familiar with it, especially since it works in all Windows programs, not just Roxy. Anyway, the last thing worth mentioning about the caption section is that you must click on one and only one of the three checkboxes labeled Mother, Father, and Shared. Also, if you click on the Shared checkbox, you must designate either Mother or Father as the obligor. Why is this necessary? Because when you choose the mother as the sole residential parent, Roxy knows the obligor will be the father. Similarly, if you choose the father as sole residential parent, it knows that the mother will be the obligor. However, in a shared parenting arrangement, Roxy doesn't know who the obligor is, and it's not always the party with the higher income. Therefore, you click one of the obligor checkboxes in the gray area to tell Roxy who the obligor is. For this example, I'm leaving the number of children at the default value of 1, and I'll check the shared parenting box. And as I just mentioned, having checked the shared parenting box, I must check one of the two boxes in the gray area. For this example, I'm checking the father as the obligor. And that brings us to the next section of this video, income.